Okay, let's talk just a little bit about Star Wars. Let's briefly talk about this. So I think right now the big question is, with regards to like the Star Wars fandom and just everything that's going on, is will the story of the last couple of weeks with Adam Driver and the Ben Solo movie, will that move the needle at all for Lucasfilm? Will anything change? And I would tell you the answer to that is complicated, but let's just address what is actually happening first. As far as we know, Ahsoka Season 2 just recently wrapped. They're working on post-production. It will drop next year, sometime. Sean Levy's movie is said to wrap within the next couple of months, maybe even by the end of this month. And I think it's supposed to drop next year as well. Or no, it's actually not scheduled for 2027, isn't it? So they've got a lot of time to do VFX and possibly reshoots on that. That's kind of interesting, actually. Mando Grogu, pretty much ready to go. I heard they were doing some pickups and some reshooting on that, but probably nothing extensive because there's nothing really to do. That movie there's nothing going on with that movie. By the way, really interesting report out there. Did you guys hear this shit where there were some controversial lines that got removed from Mando Grogu? Apparently, Jeremy Allen White was talking about how the movie, he was like ad-libbing some stuff, like where he was like, fuck the Star Wars, or like he was being self-referential, or like some goofy shit with it. It was wild, man. I was like, what the fuck was this movie? Like, how experimental did they get? This seems so wild to me. But yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like an aside. So generally speaking, guys, here's what Star Wars has lined up. They have Ahsoka Season 2, Mando Grogu. They have the Levy movie. There were some reports that Mangold will film soon. We shall see. We just got some indication that the Charmin Obed Chinoy thing might be delayed even more because Daisy Ridley just got another big movie gig or something like that. So it seems like that might get delayed. But again, Ridley is said to be in Starfighter. She's the big surprise at the end of Starfighter. Now, I saw Star Wars Meg and some other people speculating that maybe the Simon Kinberg trilogy was going to be retrofitted to like involve Ben Solo or to have more Ben Solo stuff. And I just don't think so, guys. I generally don't think so. I think that film is establishing the new Jedi Order time period, which would see Rey and Finn and Poe and other sequel trilogy characters take the sort of grandmother, grandfather roles, legacy roles for this new trilogy, which would also perhaps have the sort of young protagonist from Levy's movie be the main character, or at least one of the characters that's there in the new Jedi Order, okay? So that's generally what I think is going on. That's the general plan. But here's the thing. Kathy is on the way out. Bob Iger's on the way out. Now, as you know, I've come to believe that Bob Iger is actually majorly responsible for a lot of the things that fuck Star Wars up. Kathy allowed it to go down. She certainly played a role. She had her own issues for sure. But more than ever, it really does feel like Disney and Bob Iger was a big factor in what was holding Star Wars back. With Bob Iger on the way out and Kathleen Kennedy on the way out, there is actually a lot of hope for what Star Wars could do. I'm hoping that they don't just go right into the Kinberg movies, right? I'm hoping that they can wait, maybe until Kathy and Bob are both gone, and then reassess. At that time, Carrie Beck and Dave Filoni will likely be the co-presidents of the company. And I think Dave has a specific vision for what he would want to do. I would be very interested to see what the person that replaces Bob Iger, what that person's relationship to Dave Filoni and Star Wars becomes is going to be very telling. That's going to be very telling as far as what Star Wars will actually be able to accomplish. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think Star Wars, we're still a little bit in flux. We're waiting, but there's hope. I mean, I think that this story with Adam Driver really did shake some things. At the very least, it sort of showed me that there's still some passion left in that group. The fans still have some passion, at least insofar as they can still get angry at Bob Iger for killing movies and projects and shit. So maybe there's hope. that when they're both away and perhaps a Kevin Feige ascends maybe even, to like an Alan Bergman kind of a position over there, yeah, you could actually see some good stuff coming out. So that's about all I got to say about Star Wars. The Mall show I think is going to be lit. Ahsoka Season 2 I'm looking forward to. But if Ahsoka Season 2 is bad, it's going to really hurt Dave. It's going to really hurt Star Wars overall. Mando Grogu I think is going to be shit. Levy's movie I kind of have some hope for, but to be honest with you, it does kind of feel like slop. That's maybe just setting up Rey's shit. By the way, chat, did you see what the GQ writers said about Sean Levy? It was fucking brutal, dude. It was fucking brutal. They said something like, wow, the idea of an Adam Driver-led, Steven Soderbergh-directed Star Wars movie is awesome, and it's so bitter that we don't get it, but it feels even worse because the next big Star Wars movie is going to be done by the guy that made Free Guy. But like she was like, the author was like, and I can't stress this enough, the next Star Wars movie is being done by the guy that made Free Guy. Like in a very derogative, like very dismissive, like, oh, the Deadpool Wolverine slop director is next up to bat for Star Wars. And we could have had Soderbergh, elevated genre, like exciting, brilliant Star Wars. So that's kind of what's going on with all of that. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some new announcements and some stuff before the end of the year. It might go quiet. Maybe we'll get some rumors here and there. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Star Wars. What do you guys think? Is there any nerd theory today? I'm not sure. Keep you posted on that. Probably not. Here, I'll text theory. I'll text theory right now, but I might not hear back from him depending on what's going on. He could be flying, he could be sleeping, he could be riding a horse. What's he doing? I'm kind of leaning towards no show tonight, but I don't know. Maybe he'll do one from the back of a saddle. That'd be cool. Cool124 says, Star Wars needs to jump forward 100 years and be a space opera. I don't want sequel trilogy characters. I want a Skywalker. They should have just made Rey a clone of Luke. Yeah, I mean, I honestly agree with everything you're saying there, man. But I don't know. Maybe this new young kid can be. I mean, I tell you this. This is really why I want Ben Solo back, because he's an actual Skywalker, right? And he's connected to to Luke's actual line. He was also trained by Luke. So I would like that a lot. I think. I mean, why? Here's what I don't understand from Disney's perspective. Why wouldn't you want to do NJO or New Jedi Order with Ben Solo and Rey? Like, why would that be such a problem? That seems like a solution. Like, it seems like you would want that, especially given all the problems that Disney's had with their brands, right? I don't know, man. It is, it's hard to know what these people are thinking sometimes, but I appreciate the support, man. Everything outside of Marvel? What? I did not see the Theory Cowboy plot twist coming. I know, but you know what? Honestly, good for him, man. He seems happy. Maybe that's his natural. Maybe he was supposed to be a cowboy, you know? I think they are scared to do another somehow has returned. Yeah, maybe. They should make a show/movie that featured droids exclusively. No, thanks. She's not a Skywalker, true. Luke was ruined. He's dead and sucked. The titty milk. Luke only gets redemption as a Force ghost. Yeah, it's kind of true, huh? It's kind of true. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's kind of true, huh? Yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate, but isn't it also kind of true? Yes, tragic, yes. Yes, tragic, I say. Theory got a job at Skywalker Ranch. That's sick, dude. That's sick. Need a Terminator-esque reboot with Star Wars, just ignoring the Rey trilogy. Highly doubt they would do something like that, but like I understand the spirit of what you're saying. The thrust of what you're saying is correct. I think they could figure out a way to do it. Yeah. Justin, Jesus. Ray, I'm all the Jedi Skywalker. Yep. That's her. All I want is an Ewok miniseries. Didn't they do one of those? Disney's biggest sin with Marvel was that they made too much boring nonsense. With Star Wars, they've gone so much further and desecrated the brand and people's love towards the brand. It's dead. So, I mean, I think you're right in a sense. I don't know that it's dead, but like you're right. You're spot on about the damage. But here's something else that people don't necessarily appreciate about that. Star Wars was always more sacred than Marvel. And I love Marvel, but part of the charm is like it's comic books. Star Wars was like new myth, dude. It was like new religion. Star Wars really meant something to motherfuckers. And I'm not saying Marvel doesn't. It's just different. It's just a different thing. So I think that's a little bit of it too. Because like think about it like this. Even Phase 4 and 5 Marvel, right? Like you watch the She-Hulk show and yes, it's annoying and it's cringe and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? But it's the She-Hulk show. This wasn't like Avengers, the next Avengers are like, show up for Marvel. Star Wars has this kind of unfortunate thing where like the next version, whenever you give Star Wars, you're like it's a ceremony. Like it's a ritual. And this is the next Star Wars, which maybe they haven't even caught on to. Maybe that's part of the disconnect is they think they're just making content, you know? I hate clankers. Me too, man. For the sake of the good story, I'm totally down to straight up retcon his death. Maybe his mom gave him some life back. Yeah, something like that. Totally, dude. Any of that stuff. Any way you do it. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Okay, so hang on 1 second here, chat. We're going to try a thing, okay?